I don't got any sort of clever song for this week's episode. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Unapologetic podcast, where we are unapologetically, unequivocally, and undeniably us. This is episode 111, coming to you live and most definitely in color. And it is an episode I am excited to talk about, because today's episode, as you can see in the description for the episode, we're talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax. G1 Climax, we're going to preview the tournament, everybody in the tournament. We're also going to talk maybe a little bit more in depth about the night one of the tournament, which I am going to. It's in Chicago. I'm going away to Chicago. At the time of recording this, tomorrow. So when you hear this, I should be in Chicago. Should be in Chicago if all things go well, as they will. So we're going to mainly be talking about that. There might be a couple other things, and obviously in the description of the episode, we'll find out whether or not I talked about the other topics that are sitting in my brain that I'm trying not to say anything about, because just in case I do not talk about them. So we are going to have a deep, hopefully, conversation. Doesn't have to be a super long episode. Might not be a super long episode because it is 9:07 p.m. as I'm recording this, and I want to go to sleep because I got to wake up super early to catch this flight, and heck yeah. So before we get into any of the meat and potatoes for today's episode, you know how we do. We got to start it off with a little bit of a self-check-in. So let me know how you doing. Hope you guys are doing well, man. So I hope you guys are having a great day, week, month since the last time we've talked. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this lovely journey that has been this Unapologetic podcast. It has been a lovely, 2 years, 3 years in, something like that. It's been a lovely journey, and I've enjoyed essentially every second of it. So thank you for joining us. We talk about a lot of wonderful topics on this podcast. You can obviously follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nazkaleem. That is NAASKALEEM. I say that to say, if you go to the Instagram page, you go to the bio, you click the link tree in the bio, it will take you to all the different ways you can support this podcast and everything associated with the podcast, all the different ways you can listen to the podcast: Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. That is, again, also to say that all the previous episodes are there. So if this is your first time listening, you have a multitude of episodes to listen to catch you up on all the wonderful things we have talked about in the history of this podcast. And if you are a returning member to the podcast, welcome back. We appreciate you coming back. I appreciate you coming back. It does not go unnoticed. It does not go unappreciated. My self-check-in. I'm doing well. I'm doing well right now. I'm super excited because, again, I'm going to Chicago. At the time I'm recording this tomorrow, you'll hear this, I'll be in Chicago more than likely. Hopefully, I will be. Anyway, super excited for that. Super pumped. My girlfriend and I were going to Chicago to watch some New Japan Pro Wrestling, but also just to experience the city of Chicago, because the last time I went was, I was going to say 10 years ago, but 2018? 2018 was the last time I was in Chicago. Golly! I don't know if you guys can catch that. I'm sure you can, but that train is just training, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's been about 8 years, I'll say, since the last time I was in Chicago. And come on, bro, I'm trying to record a podcast. You got to be that loud? You got to be that loud? Just unruly. Yeah, man. This time I'm hoping to actually experience all that Chicago has to offer, or more of what Chicago has to offer than just my hotel room and the venue in which the show was at. So super excited for that. I guess going back, because it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows and what is it, kittens and whatever is the word saying. Did have a pretty big struggle with my mental health a couple days ago. I was in a really bad place Monday of this week, and I'm speaking my truth here. And we love the self check-ins. We love to deep dive, and I think this is the place to be super open and super honest about the mental health, because it will help other people, I believe, at least, be vulnerable with themselves and really, again, tap in, because that's what this is about. That's what the self check-ins are about, is you, the listener, having a space for you to talk about your problems, talk about what's going on, positive, negative, in your life, having somebody that you feel like you could talk to, in me, and me having that vice versa with you, the listener, in the hopes that people actually are listening and, actually care. So, which is something I struggle with in my life, is the vulnerability. I am a vulnerable person where if I feel like somebody genuinely cares, I will absolutely pour my heart out and just like vent. But like I struggle with that itself, venting, because I feel like people don't care, or I feel like I overshare and I feel like I'm being judged and all these different feelings. But I struggled a lot Sunday night into Monday with my mental health. A lot of it dealing with just finances, essentially. Again, transparency, right? My job, feeling like I'm not making enough money for the work that I do. I don't like the place, obviously. And it goes to the idea of, excuse me, pardon me, feeling like I'm not pursuing my passions and the dreams that I have for myself, the things that I know that I'm capable of, that I know that I can accomplish, and the wonderful things that I know that I can put out into the world. Just feeling like I'm not doing it, and seeing the people around me accomplishing and pursuing, more so pursuing the things that they're passionate about and doing it, and I feel, not in the sense of jealousy, because every time I say this, I have to say I'm not jealous of anybody, but I do look at the people around me and I'm like, damn, how'd you do it? And it really is just, they took the step, they took the leap. And I was in therapy and I talked about this with my therapist. And I always, again, have to preface, it's not jealousy, because I don't feel jealous of anybody. I don't feel envious of anybody. It's just, damn, how'd you do it? But it's just, people took the step, man. And that's just something I have to work on in myself, is just taking that first step and just doing it, doing the thing, man. Because that's really what it is, just doing the thing. So shout out to all the wonderful people in my life. There have been a lot of people recently that have accomplished a lot of dope things. Shout out to my boy Peter, who just got his plumbing license, I think, I don't know how long ago, probably a couple weeks ago, he got his plumbing license, and then he also got a job as a plumber. Shout out to my boy Peter. Shout out to my cousin Jalen doing his EMT thing. Absolutely. Also, best wishes out to my cousin Jalen and my cousin Ariana. At the time of recording, they're both going through some medical stuff. They both they both actually got into accidents at the time of recording this. Um, so best wishes to both of them, and they're going to recover absolutely fine. I fully believe that. So if you know them, if you believe in prayer, please do keep them in your prayers, because my family's clearly under attack right now. But we will all come out stronger. And this family's, I love my family, man. Like, say what I want to say what we all want to say about our families from time to time, but I absolutely love my family. Um, and where we are in 2026, right? Just the place we are, the place I am with my cousins. I absolutely adore my cousins, and I'm grateful for the ability to be present. That's a great one. If I'm talking off the top of the dome here, just the opportunity, the ability to be present in my life and present in the moment with my cousins and my family. And yeah, I'm getting real sentimental. But yeah, just to say, it's been a ride, man. The past couple weeks, the past 27 years, and great segue into talking about my birthday. My birthday was around the time, the last time we recorded the podcast. June 30th was my birthday, and I was under the weather since that Friday before my birthday. And I think I was still under the weather clearly on my birthday, but I had a fun birthday, man. Went out to my one of my favorite places to eat, Tony's Tacos, with my girlfriend and my mom for lunch. That was super dope. Had some amazing strawberry cupcakes. Shout out to my Uncle James. I don't even know how many he made. I ate majority of the cupcakes. I think I ate all but three of the cupcakes. There were a lot of cupcakes, but I love strawberry cupcakes. I love strawberry cake. I love strawberry. So shout out to that. So yeah, and then I went to round one with my cousins, with my family. So super fun opportunity, again, just to spend that time, the quality time with the people that matter most to me at this juncture, at this point in my life, is really what it's all about to me. So yeah, man, it was a good birthday, and I'm excited for what the rest of uh the year of 2026 has to offer. I'm excited what the rest of the year 2020, sorry, what the rest of the age of 27 has to offer for me, because 27 is a big number, and life is really about to kick into high gear for me, man. And I'm excited for what's ahead. Whether I know it or not, I am excited for what I have ahead of me. Um, do we have anything else? As I'm looking to the right and I'm looking at my onesie on the wall, do I have anything else I want to share? that I want to kind of get into before we jump into these meat and potatoes. I can't even look at my phone. Ever since my podcast messed up the last time I recorded on my phone, I'm afraid to like swipe on my phone to see things because I didn't write down if I had anything else self check-in wise to really tap in with. My friend Michelle, shout out to my friend Michelle. She had her graduation party on the 4th of July. That was the only thing we celebrated on the 4th of July that day. Shout out to her graduating. I still don't know what her degree is in, but she's intelligent. She's very intelligent, and I was super happy to get to spend that time with her and her family. It was a fun time. She got me a birthday gift too, which did not go unappreciated. Absolutely. Also, talking about birthday gifts, shout out to my girlfriend, by the way. She got me flowers, and if you know nothing about me, fun fact, I love flowers. I'm big on like giving people their flowers metaphorically and literally. And the idea that like somebody actually got me flowers is amazing. I genuinely love flowers and I love orchids. Actually, looking at my flowers now, okay, I thought my flowers were dead. I'm not going to lie to you, but they aren't. It says to water them once a week. So I have to water it before I leave for Chicago, low key. Um, she got me a Spurs shirt, NBA Finals shirt, which should be a good omen for next year, next year's season. She got me a Victor Wembanyama Funko Pop, which is actually funny, but he looks like Hispanic. He doesn't look French. He doesn't look like Wemby. He looks like LiAngelo Ball, actually, funny enough. But shout out to that. That was actually a really fun gift. She got me some Twizzlers. You know, I love Twizzlers. It's one of my top 3 favorite candies. Maybe we need to do a top 10 Nas's top 10 favorite candies episode of the podcast. You guys let me know if you want to hear that. Let me know if you want to hear a top 10 list from me on the podcast because I could really get into a long conversation about that. I'm enjoying this little dialogue, and I hope you guys are just in tune with the randomness of this conversation because that's what this podcast is about: being unapologetic, being off the dome, off the cuff, and just shooting the shit. You know what I mean? Pardon my French there. I'm sure she got me other stuff. I'm just blanking on what else, but I think those were the. Oh, she got me an F1 shirt as well. Shout out to that. I'm really into F1 now. If we haven't talked enough about it on the podcast, we probably should talk about F1 too. Shout out to Shout out to Charles Leclerc, who did win the most recent race at Silverstone in England. Big shout out to him. Kimmy did not finish the race. I think George Russell came in second. Third place was Lewis Hamilton, I believe, who lost second place due to a mistimed pit stop. Yeah, man, that was a good race. So it was an eventful race. All these races have been eventful. So the next time we'll talk about F1 is either more than likely in the next episode of the podcast. But I think we're good on the self check-ins. I think we're ready to go. The NBA offseason's in full swing, and yes, that is actually one of the things I was trying to avoid talking about, but it's in full swing. A lot of moves, a lot of trades, a lot of shenanigans have been happening. We'll see how much time goes by talking about the G1. We'll see if we talk about it in this episode. If not, don't worry, we'll be getting to it. I just got to figure out a way to talk about it where I'm not overwhelming myself, because that is a big thing with this podcast is me overwhelming myself and then not putting out the content that I really want to put out. Also, on the topic of content, and bear with me because we're about to talk about wrestling in 1 second. I got stuff that I got to promote soon. I just have to push myself to do it. Again, it's taking that step. So keep a lookout, and this is why I say follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nas Kaleem, NAASKALEEM. Make sure you stay tuned on one of those platforms, both of those platforms, because I will be dropping something soon that I'm very passionate about, and I'm hoping that other people will join the journey of what could be just a beautiful opportunity for myself. So please, please, please make sure you stay tuned on those socials for what is to come. Stay tuned here, stay locked in here on the podcast because we will be talking about it as it transpires and as it happens. And on the topic of what transpires and happens on this podcast, let's talk about the G1 Climax, baby. We're here. We're here. 2026 New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax. We are here. Let's get into the conversation, man. So once again, it is a 20-person block. If you're not familiar with New Japan Pro Wrestling and the G1 Climax, it is a round-robin tournament. That means everybody faces everybody. 2 blocks, 10 people in each block, means 9 matches for each competitor, essentially. You face everybody in your block once. whoever has the most points. I believe they're doing the top two finishers or something of that nature is usually what they end up doing. So the top two finishers in both blocks will take on each other. So the top person in A block will take on the second person in B block, and then vice versa, going the other way. The winners of that will advance to the finals of the G1, which will then crown the G1 Climax champion. The winner of that gets a guaranteed championship opportunity at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, whether that be at Wrestle Kingdom or at any point in between. As we've seen Zack Sabre Jr. kind of change the rules on that over the past couple of years. So that's been pretty dope to see. Also, actually, Takeshita also did it. So the past 2 years, I've seen a little change to that, which isn't a bad idea. It kind of also just keeps people on their toes going into Wrestle Kingdom. So there's really nothing wrong with that. So we now know who the 20 competitors are, and we'll quickly just go through A block and B block, and then we'll circle back around and we'll talk about each person in the block, kind of how likely they are to really put on a show. And then we'll talk about, once again, night one of the G1, the show that I will be at, in the 9 matches that we will be seeing. Not 10, 9, because apparently 2 people have visa issues, which is weird because I've seen both of them wrestle in the US. So, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. It is what it is. So, A block, we've got the reigning G1 Climax champion Konosuke Takeshita representing AEW, DDT, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. We got Yota Tsuji representing Unbound Co., the leader of Unbound Co. Also, is he still the champion? Yes, the current reigning IWGP Heavyweight Champion. I should also say that Konosuke Takeshita is the current reigning IWGP. Is he the television champ? I think he's the television champ. Don't quote me because I think he is, but I also think I might be wrong. I think he's or is he the never champ? I'll be honest, I don't remember. I want to say he's the TV champ. I think he's the TV champ. We've got Sanada representing House of Torture as well in this match. We've got Shingo Takagi also representing the Unbound Co. in this block. Jake Lee representing the United Empire. We've got Botin Oleg, who I believe is the strong heavyweight champ. Is he the never? No. Okay, I know who the never champ is. So Bolton Oleg is the strong champion, and I think he's 1/3 of the 6-man champs. I'll be honest, I forgot who the 6-man champs are. I lied. He's not. Forget everything I said. He is the strong champion. That I remember. We've also got Great Okan talking about the 6-man champs. 1/3 of the never 6-man champs and 1/2 of the IWGP Tag Team Champions. Great Okan representing the United Empire. Hiroki Goto is also here representing Hantai. I love to say Chaos specifically, but representing Hantai. He's also in this block. And the final 2 competitors that, are in this block because of a play-in are Yuto Ice and Ryohei Oiwa. So the fact that we're going to see these 2 go back at it, that would have been an awesome match for night 1 to be there live for. Alas, we're locked in. That's going to be fun. So those are the last 2 guys for A block. As we go to B block, we've got Callum Newman, United Empire, Zack Sabre Jr., my boy, TMDK. We've got Shota Umino, former global heavyweight champion. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We've got Yuya Uemura. This is a stacked block already. Ren Narita is in this block. We've got Drilla Maloney. We've got Gabe Kidd, the new global heavyweight champion. We've got Hinare, 1/3 of the never openweight champions and 1/2 of the tag champs. Also in the block, as a result of the play-ins, we got the never champion Aaron Wolf and Oscar. So this is a very good field of 20. Obviously, you can say what you want about who made it and who didn't make it. Yoshihashi's, I'm looking at the graphic, that's why I can say this. Yoshihashi and Taichi are kind of 2 of the bigger ones. Ishii as well, but at least Ishii's hurt. Are probably like 3 of the notable people that aren't in this. And sure, you can kind of make your arguments about who you would take out, who you would keep in. But this is a very strong field. Now, granted, there's going to be shenanigans. You kind of look at this block and you look at it sucks because you look at it and it's really like, okay, Ren Narita, Jake Lee, and more than likely Sonata are going to be your big like shenanigans guys. But there's less shenanigan guys in this G1 than probably the past couple of years, and that is awesome, which means we're going to be seeing a lot of like straight up action. Granted, Callum Newman is here, and Zane Jay's gotten involved in a lot of his matches, so we'll see what happens there. But great field. As we kind of talk about, I guess, who has the best chances of winning, we'll start back in the A block here. Takeshita, again, reigning champion. He did just lose the Continental. Was the Continental? The International. He did just lose the International Championship to Kyle Fletcher on Dynamite this past Wednesday. So it kind of opens him up to be maybe a little bit more present in New Japan over the next, 2 months, essentially. I don't think he wins it back to back, but he has to be considered one of the favorites. He, again, is also a champion in the company, so it's safe to say. Yota Tsuji, considering he is the champion right now, I don't think he wins the G1. But obviously him winning the G1 would mean that he can call his shot at some point, which also could just mean maybe he holds on to the opportunity, he loses the title, and then he challenges at Wrestle Kingdom. We'll have to see what happens. I doubt he holds the title to Wrestle Kingdom, so we'll see what happens there. Sonata, yeah, not a high chance he wins the G1. I'd actually be very surprised if he even made it to the finals of the G1. He's kind of one of those guys that probably gets like between 6 to 8 points. I don't know how close. I'm falling backwards. I don't know how close this block is really going to be. Shingo's another guy that probably won't win, but should probably come close to the top. I think it's safe to say that there's probably 3 guys that are going to be finalists here. Let's just keep going with it. Jake Lee's not. Obviously, Jake Lee is probably going to be one of the guys in this year's tournament that's going to lose a lot of his matches, but it's going to be because he is just dastardly. He gets caught cheating or he intentionally loses and stuff like that. It's probably going to be the case with him, and I hope that's not the case. We'll see. Bolton Oleg is going to have an impressive G1. It's just how many wins does he really get? And obviously a lot of the wins come down to the champions in the block as well in future title opportunities. So also considering he's the strong champion, there's going to be a couple of guys that get the win over him. Keeping up, Hiroki Goto has to be considered one of the favorites as well. Considering Yoshihashi didn't make it, it kind of does feel like there's room for Hiroki Goto to get a couple wins over some strong competitors, no pun intended, in this block and kind of build his singles case once again. Great-O-Khan, I can see also being towards the top of the block, maybe around 6 to 8 points. Probably 8 points more so is a good number. And then again, Yuto Ice, another guy similar to Oscar in the block that has a great opportunity to kind of build up some singles victories. And I'm sure Yuto's also going to be looking to get revenge on Great-O-Khan, similar with Oscar on Hanare kind of thing. Oiwa's going to have an impressive G1, but I just don't know how many points he really picks up. If I had to see who's probably going to be in the cellar of the block, it's probably Sonata. Maybe Sonata and Jake Lee. It'll probably be a fairly even one. Probably Oiwa, Sonata will be towards the bottom. Jake Lee probably joining them. Probably putting a guy like Bolton, maybe Yuto just above that. Great-O-Khan, Shingo above that, and then probably Goto, Takeshita, and Tsuji as the big 3 to kind of come out of the block or be the finalists in the block. As we kind of look at future top title opportunities in this block that kind of come out of it, again, Tsuji is currently the champion, which to me, you're kind of building maybe Hiroki Goto, getting a win over Tsuji, getting a future title shot there. Takeshita maybe beats Tsuji as well on night 1. We'll talk about that in a little bit, getting a future opportunity there. And then you got a couple other ones here. You got to figure one of the guys in United Empire will get a win over Tsuji and then get a title opportunity at some point. I'd love to see Bolton Oleg get a win and challenge for the title. Oiwa would also be a nice shout, but I don't know if he beats Tsuji. And Tsuji's not going to, he's not going to lose too many. And out of 9 matches, a maximum amount of points at 18, Tsuji's not losing more than 3 matches. So if you really have to do it, it's Goto, Takeshita, and then one other guy is going to beat Tsuji. And again, Takeshita is also the television champion, so you can go Takeshita and Oiwa, right? You can go Takeshita and Bolton Oleg, Takeshita and Shingo. You know what I mean? There's a couple. Takeshita and Yuto Ice is going to be a phenomenal match when it happens. So again, there's a couple matches you can build there. Takeshi's probably another guy that's not going to lose a lot. Probably, again, 3 matches he'll probably lose max. Goto's kind of the guy that probably loses a couple more, maybe 4 in this one. But again, looking at Boltin Oleg, who again is the strong champion. When you consider strong shows or international shows, what do you do with Boltin? Do you go Boltin and Goto? Do you go Boltin and Goto? Do you go Boltin and Shingo? Right? Boltin and Takeshita in the future. I don't see too many international matches here, especially for this block. Yuto Ice and Bolton would be a fun match just to have on a show. You know what I mean? And as we look at the 6-man and tag team for Great Khan specifically, I'm looking at fresh matchups here. I think Sonata beating Great Khan is a realistic thing, and Sonata challenging for the tag titles, maybe with Ren Narita, is an option that happens potentially. Probably Shingo gets the win, so we can get Shingo and Drilla against Okan and Hanare, run that match back. Certainly. I mean, Bishiman, you know, the Knockout Brothers, you can obviously go that. Oiwa and ZSJ, you can run those matches back, but again, some of those matches have been done to death. So, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, my prediction coming out of the block is probably Takeshita and Tsuji at 1 and 2. You can put them in either order you want. And then Hiroki Goto kind of being in place number 3, but I think those are your 3 guys. So let's go over to B block here, and I hope you guys are locked in with me because we are, like I said, we're deep diving this conversation. I'm enjoying this start to this conversation. Both as I'm looking at this block and I'm talking about it, there is a lot of potential for really great matches in this G1. Let's get into it, man. So I guess in the same boat that we kind of talked about as we talk about, I guess, where everybody's bound to finish. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. has got to be one of your guys to win the block, one of your top guys. I'm trying not to be biased when I say that. But honestly, when you look at this block, there's 5 guys that could win this block. Callum Newman, Zack Sabre Jr., Shota Umino, Yuya Uemura, and Gabe Kidd. There's 5 guys that are going to finish anywhere from probably 10 to 14 points. And that 10 points is going to be huge in this year's tournament. That's what, 5 wins? 5 wins, 4 losses, I believe. Those are huge points. You can kind of go either way. It's probably easier to talk about the seller of the division. And this block is going to be super intriguing because even a guy like Ren Narita, who, because he's in House of Torture, does a lot of shenanigans, there's a lot of interference in his matches, is a guy that can be super deceptive and maybe get to 10 points in a block like this. A guy like Drilla Maloney, it depends how much stock they want to put in him. Does he get to maybe 10 points in a block like this? Hanare more than likely isn't going to. But he's a guy that probably, in losing a bunch of matches in this year's tournament, is gonna put on a great performance. Oscar, how is he gonna perform? I think for Oscar and Yuto Ice, this is their first G1. How are they going to perform? This is a stacked block. And then you have Aaron Wolf, who, I don't know, in Aaron Wolf's case, right? Because you are facing killers. Zach is going to put him in a freaking pretzel. I think Aaron Wolf and Yuya is going to be a phenomenal match. Gabe Kidd's going to beat the crap out of Aaron Wolf when he gets the opportunity. Aaron Wolf, I don't know. Aaron Wolf, Hanare, Drilla are more than likely at the cellar of the block this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Wolf somehow gets, 8 points. Does he get 8 points? He probably gets 3, honestly. He probably gets 6 points, 3 wins. Maybe finishes at the bottom of the barrel for the division, and then you got Drilla and Hanare right above him. I got Ren maybe just above that, getting anywhere from 8 to 10 points himself. And then it's the 5. Unless I'm missing something, make sure I'm not. Yeah, then it's the 5 guys, right? It's tough to say who gets it because I really do think it's a big 5 here. I think Umino losing the global championship kind of means you free him up for the IWGP title, but I also don't know if they do it. There's multiple ways to look at it. Gabe Kidd beating Umino means either one, Umino could just win the title back at the first time of asking, maybe at a joint show in the future. Gabe Kidd is apparently going to be dual contracted, I would think, because he is now the global champion. Maybe he drops it right after the G1 back to Umino. I mean, we see what happens. It depends how much stock they want to put into Umino. And obviously, New Japan is still very high on Gabe Kidd. And I was having a conversation with myself about Gabe Kidd, and it just shows, again, yeah, how much trust the company has in him. How much love he genuinely has for the company of New Japan and the business of professional wrestling, that in character he's despicable, he craps on New Japan, this and that, but like they know it's love, and they know that this guy takes the sport seriously, and he takes New Japan seriously. So I don't know. Gabe Kidd can talk all the crap he wants about New Japan, but we know he loved New Japan. Um, it's tough. It's tough to say. And I had something else to say about Gabe Kidd. I don't remember. Honestly, I got Yuya winning the block. Whether he wins the G1 or not, we'll see. Because I do think there's so much money still with Yuya and Tsuji, and I think that could be a Wrestle Kingdom match. To me, Yuya has all the tools, right? It it just depends, and I'm still waiting for Umino to show the dark side and potentially turn on Yuya. Um, there, but I don't know. There's another chapter to tell with Shota Umino, and I'm just waiting to see what New Japan does with that. But I think Yuya is ready. He's ready for this big opportunity, mind you. I think Ren Narita is too. It's a weird, because again, Ren is in House of Torture, and it's like he's in House of Torture. They cheat so much, so he doesn't get to show his wrestling ability, but he's genuinely a fantastic professional wrestler. Even with all the shenanigans he does, when he locks in, he's fantastic at what he does. I just realized we're gonna see Ren Narita and Aaron Wolf again. Oh gosh. And then Yuya again, same thing, has all the tools in the world. It's just, golly, can they just get behind him? He's not like Umino, where people just don't like Shota Umino. People like Yuya. He came back from excursion and people were happy to see him. He's got the tools. So I don't know. I got high hopes for Yuya Uemura. And then again, Zach, who honestly, I don't know. I don't I don't think Zach wins it. That would just be like me being biased because I love TMDK. I love Zach. I don't think he wins it. I think can you put Zach at number 4? I don't know. And then you got Callum Newman, who just lost the IWGP Heavyweight Championship to Tsuji at Dominion. I feel like, and then the injury, Callum, I think, had a separated shoulder or something like that. How does that affect him in the G1, especially when you're going to have to wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. and, for lack of, better, what? I don't know what word I was going to use there. Ren Narita, I guess in a lesser sense is probably the word to use there, and the phrase to use there in a lesser sense. Ren Narita, both guys who can tie you in absolute pretzels. Yuya Uemura is also no slouch. Aaron Wolf is no slouch in the mat wrestling game, or the what was he? I don't know if he's Greco-Roman or whatever the case. But he's no slouch either. So Callum's gonna have a tough time if his health isn't where it needs to be. So as we kind of, I guess, try to put a more of a bow on, I guess, who comes out of this block, the top 2 to come out of this block, I got Yuya. Yuya to me is a lock. You gotta go Yuya Uemura. Consistently put on phenomenal performances. His story kind of feels like one we gotta follow, and he doesn't really have too much going on. I think Umino still he's tied to Gabe Kidd, and there's still stories to tell with Umino specifically. I think the Gabe Kidd Shota Umino thing is something we'll be doing maybe into Wrestle Kingdom. That could be the match, whether it has the global title attached to it or not. That match is going to get run back, and it's going to be revisited 110%. So that could be your Wrestle Kingdom match. Umino representing everything that is pure and correct with New Japan, and Gabe Kidd being Gabe Kidd. Especially when you consider Shota Umino feuding with the Death Riders a little bit, with Forbidden Door, Umino and Pac, and all that kind of stuff going on. So there's a lot of story to tell there, and it seems like that's where it's going to be. So to that point, Callum, Zach, Yuya is probably the 3. And I think you redo what was it the finals of the New Japan Cup? I think it was Callum Newman and Yuya. You run that back. Whether you run that back though, here in the finals of the G1, I don't know. But Callum and Yuya seems like the fair bet. I think Zach maybe loses out. I don't know when Zach and Yuya wrestle. I don't know if it's going to be on the last night of the tour. Um, of block competition. That would be pretty cool. But Zach is probably going to lose to Yuya. Maybe Yuya gets a surprise roll up, surprise submission. You know how Zach loves his surprise pins. Maybe he does something like that to beat Yuya. For Yuya to beat Zach, maybe get something like that. But I think Zach maybe comes in third. I think Umino and Gabe Kidd will be so caught up in each other. Maybe Umino loses sight of himself again, by the way, trying to, recover from losing the title to Gabe Kidd and all that kind of stuff. That's what we get. But I got Zach in third. I guess I'll go Gabe Kidd 4, Shota 5, and Yuya and Callum being 1 and 2, whichever way you want to do it, going into the finals of the G1. But let's lock in real quick to just the championship aspect. And this block doesn't really have anybody with super challenge, or I'm sorry, not super challenging, but super championship things to talk about. I mean, Gabe Kidd is a global champion. Who does he really lose to in this tournament? I think he could lose to Yuya. I think Drilla can beat Gabe Kidd. And maybe that sets up a Royal Quest match. Certainly. I don't know. And again, Gabe Kidd's got to lose. If he gets to 10 points, that means he lost 4 matches. So having him lose to Drilla, maybe he loses to Yuya, maybe he loses to Umino, and it sets up that rematch, obviously. And then you figure he's got to lose to one of either Zach or Callum. Maybe he loses to Callum because of the interference of Zane J, because Gabe Kidd probably doesn't have anybody in his corner when he comes back to New Japan. Yeah, he's going to lose a couple. Him losing to Oscar would also be pretty cool. Shout out to Oscar. I think Oscar and Gabe Kidd is going to be a phenomenal match as well, as long as they actually have a match. That there's going to be 1 to 2 matches here in the G1 that are going to have like the crazy, like, we're not wrestling, we're going to wrestle in the crowd, and the match isn't even going to start kind of thing. And Oscar and Gabe Kidd has a very good chance to do that. But also the idea of Oscar and Hanare doing it is likely. Great Khan, Yudo Ice is likely. Oiwa and Yudo Ice is likely. So there's a couple of those, ideas and opportunities. Jake Lee and Shingo is another one. But locking back in, that's the Gabe Kidd side of it. And as we kind of let's go to Aaron Wolf, man. He's going to have a lot of challengers, which is only beneficial for him, I will say. Again, he's in the first year of his professional wrestling career at this level kind of thing. He was in the dojo last year. He debuted at Wrestle Kingdom this year, and he's been thrown into the fire. He's only going to benefit by wrestling the top names in this company, and he is going to be wrestling the top names in this company. So, I mean, I don't know who he's really going to beat. Probably beats Ren. I don't know who else he really beats. Maybe a surprise win over a guy like Callum Newman wouldn't be too surprising. I don't know. I genuinely don't know who else he beats. Maybe he beats Drilla. I don't know. Maybe Drilla can't lift him up for the Drilla Killer, and Aaron Wolf gets the win over him there. But you got to figure Aaron Wolf's going to have a lot of competitors. Honestly, Oscar and Aaron Wolf having a future never showdown seems like an idea. And then to the same point of me saying Yudo Ice has a challenge maybe with Bolton Oleg or Takeshita. You know what I mean? So there's opportunity there for sure. Also, the idea of doing the Knockout Brothers against Aaron Wolf and Bolton Oleg is something that I think I've done in World Tag League on TEW. So let's run that. Let's run it. And then we talk about Hanare again, tag champ, 6-man champ. There's a lot of different routes you can go. Again, the TMDK route with Zach and Oiwa. You can go Zach, Hartley, and Oiwa. There's that side of it. Callum Newman. Actually, sorry, he's in United Empire, so you won't be seeing that. Umino in any collection of people he wants to do, whether it's Umino and Yuya going against Hanare and Great Khan, whether it's any member of Hantai going against United Empire. House of Torture. Again, Narita and Sonata going for the tag titles, or maybe Yujiro, Ren, and Sonata going for the 6-man titles. It's an idea. Drilla's in the Unbound Co. Whether we see, any combination of Suji, Takagi, Maloney, the Knockout Brothers going for the 6-man titles, which could happen at some point. You never know. Is likely. Gabe Kidd's in the Death Riders, but also is in the Dogs. Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Clark Connors challenging for the 6-man titles at some point. Could happen. Gabe Kidd teaming with somebody in the Death Riders to go for the 6-man titles or the tag titles. It's likely. There's a lot of different stuff we could do there. A lot of different stuff. So there's a lot of routes we can go. But as we kind of narrow this down and we've talked about who probably the final four are going to be, once again, Konosuke Takeshita, Yota Tsuji coming out of A block. B block, we've got Callum Newman and Yuya Uemura. Those are my predictions. I'll have to listen back to this because I'll forget that I said this. I'm going to go Yuya. I'm going to go Yuya and Tsuji. I'm going to go Yuya and Tsuji as the finals of the G1 this year. My fear is the fact that I'm leaning towards Tsuji because I do think the idea of Tsuji, winning the G1, having the opportunity in his back pocket, and then inevitably losing the title to somebody leading into Wrestle Kingdom, in which he invokes his title match or his title shot later on in the year, seems pretty likely. But also just the idea of Yuya having the opportunity and calling his shot on Tsuji, a guy he has a lot of history with, also seems pretty likely. The only thing is that if Yuya does win and has his match before Wrestle Kingdom, he's not getting another shot at Wrestle Kingdom. You know what I mean? He's not getting that next shot immediately. However, I thought the same thing about Tsuji when he lost the title. He lost the opportunity against, when he lost the global title to Gabe Kidd, I think it was, late last year, and then challenged for the IWGP title, I think on the same show or the night after kind of thing. So, I don't know. Anything could happen in the world of New Japan, but head is going Tsuji, but the heart wants Yuya to win. And the heart is what it's all about because we love Yuya on this podcast. But that is the prediction for the G1. Let's talk about night one of the G1, the show that I will be at. So, as we now know, it's going to be Ren Narita and Oscar. We'll kind of go in a certain order. There really is no order. We're just going to talk about the matches. Ren and Oscar. It depends what members of House of Torture make it to America, right? If Yujiro makes it to America, if Dick Togo make it to America, if Kanemaru makes it to America, then there's a good chance that Oscar loses this match. If they aren't in America, Oscar wins this match. No questions asked. Yes, I can see Ren shenanigans, tying up Oscar in knots and this and that, really attacking the leg and hitting that Hell's Guillotine from the top rope, but I think Oscar finds a way to win with that messed up leg, as Ren is definitely going to be working on it. We've got Shingo Takagi and Jake Lee in a match that's going to happen. I mean, Shingo's phenomenal. Not worried about Shingo. Jake Lee I'm worried about because Jake Lee is not serious. He's literally playing a jester character. He takes the piss in matches, and I just, if he's going to take the piss out of the tournament, I just don't want to see him wrestle. I'll probably be skipping most of his G1 matches if he's just going to take the piss out of all his matches. So I hope he comes ready to actually wrestle. However, I know that I'm going to be laughing when I see him wrestle. I know I'm going to laugh in the match, but I want to see him wrestle. Hanare and Aaron Wolf. Oh, also, who wins the match? I mean, if we're going for revenge, Shingo gets the win, but if Jake Lee's going to be on his jester crap, I can see Jake Lee getting another win over Shingo. Aaron Wolf and Hanare. Tough to say. I think this will be a better match than any credit. I think it's going to be hard hitting in the sense that Hanare is going to beat the crap out of Aaron Wolf. Or not even in a I'm taking liberties with you, but in the sense of Hanare is just going to Hanare is going to bring the best out of Aaron Wolf. I truly believe that. This is where we're going to see if Aaron Wolf is built to be in this G1 or not. If he has the mana, as Hanare would say, to be in this G1 and to fight 8 other people after Hanare. We're going to really find out if he's got that dog in him and if he's ready to be in this position with these 20 or as a part of the top 20 guys theoretically in New Japan right now from a heavyweight perspective. Aaron Wolf probably gets the win though. I don't think Hanare challenges for the Never title, and yes, Aaron Wolf winning can set up Aaron Wolf, in Bishamon, Aaron Wolf, Bolton, and maybe ELP, whatever combination you want to do, but it sets up either a tag title shot or a Never title shot, a Never 6-man title shot, which I feel like can be very likely. Hantai saves the day from the United Empire's reign of holding titles. I don't know. But yeah, Aaron Wolf probably gets the win. somehow over Hanare. Great Okan and Yuto Nakashima, Yuto Ice. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be a good one. Hard hitting. Um, I don't know who gets the win though. Obviously, these guys don't like each other, and the fact that this is happening on night one of the tournament is very telling. Is very good. It's fun to see Yuto Ice wrestle in real life. I'm taking moments to genuinely think about this because I haven't looked at these matches in the sense of deep diving and really analyzing every match. It's gonna be a good match. I'm hoping. I got high hopes for this match, just being a match, right? Not being shenanigans and Great Okan taking the piss and playing to the crowd and being just a shit heel. I think this will be a fun match. I'm gonna give Yuto the win because I think they have to get their rematch at the tag titles more than likely, or the six-man titles at some point. And I think Yuto getting his revenge on Great Okan makes sense. But you can have Great Okan beat Yuto. Maybe he's not ready, and then we see Oscar get the win over Hanare at some point. So there's different routes we can go with this one here. But I'm gonna go Yuto. Hiroki Goto and Sonata in a match that I hope actually happens. And again, to the same vein as I talk about Jake Lee, or talk about Ren Narita, guys that either will have outside interference, Sonata being a part of House of Torture, we'll see if there's interference in this match, or simply just will he take the match seriously? And we know Sonata's got it in him. And one of Sonata, Jake Lee, or Ren Narita is going to take this night seriously. One of those three is going to have a surprisingly fair match until the end of the match, right? So I don't know about this one, but I do think Goto's absolutely going to bring it. I think Sonata, when it comes down to it, will. But there's now the part of me that does think Sonata can get this win because usually night one has a couple of upsets that sets the tone. And I can absolutely see Sonata getting this win over Goto. Just because to show that he's ready to be in this competition in this tournament. So I'm gonna give Sonata the win here. Prediction is Sonata. We've got Bolton Oleg taking on Ryohei Oiwa. I love this. I'm super excited for this one. Two of my favorite guys in New Japan about to go at it. Dude, Oiwa is so freaking good. I've been a fan of Oiwa, I think, since he was a young lion, but seeing him wrestle in Pro Wrestling Noah on his excursion, chef's kiss. He's fantastic. And Bolton Oleg is also no slouch. He's really grown on me the past year. And also getting to see him against, I think it was Takeshita in New Jersey earlier this year was awesome. So I do think Oiwa gets the win because, again, it sets up the strong title opportunity for Oiwa in the future, which absolutely. Let's run the match back because this match is going to be great. Really, these top four matches that I'm about to talk about are going to be incredible. But I do think Oiwa gets the win over Bolton. Yuya Uemura against Callum Newman. And this is also going to be really good. And this is where we're really going to see, this is one of Callum, I think's best chances to wrestle a safe match during this G1. I say that to say, again, Callum Newman, allegedly, apparently, rumors, reports, say he has an injured shoulder after his match with Tsuji at Dominion. That's what's being said. So if he does, this is his best chance to wrestle probably one of the safer members of the New Japan roster and get back into the swing of competition. It's starting with a guy like Yuya. So perfect opportunity. A match that's going to be good. And I guess we'll see how much Zane J gets involved in this match. If Zane J's in America, I would assume he's in America because he lives in America. So I would assume Zane J will be here and will be in Callum's corner. And probably gets heavily involved in this match. We will see how much it takes to keep Yuya down. And will he keep Yuya down? I don't know. I'm thinking, though, Callum gets the win here. And then if we see this match again during the G1, Yuya gets the win there. But I think if Callum gets the win here, it's because of Zane J. And yeah, once again, if they run the match back, that's when Yuya will get the win. Maybe Umino can be in his corner at that point, or somebody else in Hantai will be, maybe Taichi at that point will be in his corner, and Taichi fights off Zane J and what have you, whatever we got to do there. I got Callum getting the win here, not because I want to see that, but because it's Zane J will be there. Zack Sabre Jr. and Shota Umino, co-main event of the night, bro. This is going to be great. Every time these guys wrestle, it's a fantastic match, and the fact that we're getting this match on night one of the G1, all all gas, no breaks with it. Yara, I mean, all tournament matches. This is going to be a great match. And I'm going to say this broken record. This is going to be genuinely a really good match. And I think another match where we're going to kind of see what Umino's tournament is going to look like. Maybe the same for both guys. Is New Japan taking Zack seriously still? Right? We'll see in this match. Zack is always going to put on great performances, similar with Umino. But this match is going to be telling for both guys in the G1. And I do focus hyperly on Umino here. Because after losing the title, what is his response going to be? Are we going to see Kazuchika Okada when he came out with the red hair and the balloon after losing the IWGP Championship, however many years ago now that was? Are we going to see shades of that in Umino where he's trying to find his footing again? Or is Umino going to come out like a house on fire with a fire lit under him, ready to get redemption, ready to set the world ablaze? I don't know. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. To that point, though, I got Zack winning. I do think the route that New Japan is going to go is probably Umino finding his footing again after losing the title, probably midway through. He probably has a crucial match midway through the G1 that starts to put his momentum up. Probably his match with Oscar might do that. Again, I don't know where these tournament matches happen, specifically during the timeline, but Umino's probably going to start off a little slow and then come out the gates and have a good finishing, but probably not end up where he needs to be. But by the end of the tournament, the fire is going to be there, and he'll be ready to face Gabe Kidd to get his title back potentially. But I think Zack's going to he's going to finish strong. He's going to have a strong showing to the tournament, but I think ultimately fall short because he's going to end up losing a lot of his matches to the guys that matter. Again, Callum, Yuya, he'll probably end up losing. And then one of the other guys we mentioned as well. And the main event of the night looks like it's going to be Yota Tsuji and Konosuke Takeshita, a rematch of Wrestle Kingdom, just rematch of last year's G1 Climax final, if I'm not mistaken. Or did it not happen? Because I think Tsuji was hurt. Oh no, it was Takeshita and Evil, and then we had Takeshita and ZSJ after that. Yes, because Tsuji got hurt last year and didn't get the chance to wrestle. He got knocked unconscious. We're running this match back. Night one of the G1. Perfect way to have the match. Why not? Do this match. Why not? Another match that's going to set the tone. I mean, Tsuji's very clearly the guy in New Japan. That's not a question. That's not really something to debate. He is the guy for New Japan. I think the question is, what does New Japan really think about Takeshita at this point, right? He is your television champion, which, for what that's worth, I guess. But he's contracted to 3 different companies. He's obviously heavily involved with AEW storylines as far as Okada and Fletcher and stuff going on there. He's going to have another match with Okada very soon, I'm sure. Again, he just lost the international title to Kyle Fletcher. So there's a lot there, and Takeshi's focus, we'll see where it is. And I'm sure New Japan fans still aren't too thrilled that he's not there like he should be, though he is officially a member of Hantai. So we'll see what happens. But he's not there like he should be, ultimately. Yes, his focus will be on the G1. He's not going to be on AEW television. He lost the title. We'll see what happens post G1 with him. But as far as this G1, I don't know if he wins. I don't know if he gets the win on night one. Again, my prediction was the finals being Tsuji and Yuya, so I guess going with Takeshita getting the win because it also sets up Takeshita getting a future title match again at Tsuji. If you run that match back later this year at some point, I don't know. You probably do. Maybe that's Takeshita's. I'm sorry. Maybe that's Tsuji's last defense before Wrestle Kingdom if he faces Yuya. I don't know. I'm speculating here, but Takeshita gets the win. Maybe Tsuji got the win. Never mind. I'm thinking about something. It was Tsuji and Andrade in New Jersey. I'm thinking about something different there. But the last time Tsuji was in America and wrestled, he did get the win over Andrade. He did come out strong over Andrade. But I don't know. I'm thinking Takeshita because it sets up again the title match, but I can see Suji finishing strong. But I think it's Takeshita. I think Takeshita gets the win because it sets up the title opportunity. And I'm just one of those guys. I'm just one of those guys. One of those fantasy bookers, whatever words you want to use there, just thinks about the future and future title opportunities, and it just feels like Takeshita gets the win there. So really, that's my thoughts on the G1 Climax Night 1 in Chicago. That is our thoughts on the G1 overall, and that is our show. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Unapologetic Podcast. Once again, if you want to keep up with me and all things this podcast, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nas Kaleem, NAASKALEEM. Not gonna lie, almost forgot how to spell my name. Instagram and Twitter, you go over there, go to the link in the bio of Instagram, go to the link tree, all the different ways you can support the podcast, all the different ways you can listen to the podcast, all the different ways you can support everything associated with the podcast. Also, if you just want to keep up with me, if you want to leave some opinions on the podcast, topics to talk about, if you want to vent about your mental health, talk about your day, whatever the case, those are the different ways you can connect with me, and let's have some fun conversations. Let's start dialogues. Let's bring positivity to the world. Let's bring peace, love, and positivity to the world. And once again, that's the most important rule of this podcast. If you didn't know, that most important golden rule, it is to spread peace, love, and positivity always.